All right, what do we got today? Oh, cheese. Welcome back, troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. So apparently people want me to talk about the Cheesehead Explorer that's popped up in Wisconsin lately. My mailbox has not been filled with a single guitar like this in such a long time. It's refreshing. So, it's a Gibson Explorer. I do collect those, and it's cheese themed. It's got cheese holes in it. This thing gives a whole new meaning to 9-hole weight relief. But if we count them, there are 8 full holes and 3 partial holes, so it's not exactly the same. But alright, let's make sure it's a legit Gibson first. Yep, sure enough, it's got the 90s to early 2000s era case. We can just vaguely see the Gibson logo here. And it's at this point where I realized that there was something different about this one. It says Green Bay Packers right here. Now, I did just recently document the Footpaul. In case you missed it, it's a football Les Paul. So this would naturally integrate into my collection of Explorers and I guess football-themed guitars. And I've always had a weird fascination with exotic cheeses. I would kind of prefer this without the branding, but that's right. It's another one of those promo guitars. Donzi, Fruit of the Loom, Playboy bunnies among many of other ones that we've taken the time to document. However, when we flip over to the backside, there's actually a little bit more to the story. Somebody has squiggled all over it. Now, who was that someone? Super Bowl champion number 73, Aaron Taylor. That might mean a lot to somebody, but unfortunately, I'm not that target demographic. But I do like the fact that the holes go all the way through, because there is a model called the Holy Explorer. Now, the Cheese Explorer is rumored to be from the year 1996, so the Holy Explorer didn't come out for another 11 years after that, so technically this one was first. I like how they actually have the nice yellow finish in between it. They didn't choose to black it out. That probably would have looked pretty good too. But oh, here's the upset. We've got the serial number. The neck technically dates to 1997, but is the 20th day of the year, so most likely they ordered this in 1996 and didn't quite get it in time. But it is a true custom shop Gibson, so it's kind of like my Yahoo Explorer. It's doofy and lovable and quirky, but the seller is asking $4,000 for it. Which granted, I've seen sellers ask crazier things for these promo guitars, but usually there's a very, very small niche audience for this. And as of right now, it appears he's only offering it locally, and he's up in Wisconsin, Berlin area. This poor guy, though, has probably been messaged so many times saying, oh, talk to Trogly about it, talk to Trogly about it. And I had to tell him, I do have a small passing interest, but we're just going to be too far apart price-wise. But to make up for it, I figured we would at least talk about it. I kind of wish they would have continued the cheese theme on the fretboard, had it like painted yellow. Oh man, that'd be really cool to have a neck that just has a hole through it. It would have to be like diagonal, and I'm sure there's reasons why you can't do that. But they could have at least did it to the headstock. I think that's why I didn't necessarily fall in love with this one. I feel it could be done better. But if you're a huge Green Bay Packers fan, this totally makes sense because their followers are apparently called Cheesehead, so that's why it's called the Cheesehead Explorer. And you know, if I actually buy this Explorer, I have a nice business write-off of a $20 cheese hat. Very tempting. It's even got some of the original hang tags, which just makes it even cooler seeing it official. Cheesehead. So I'll tell you what, Mr. Cheese Explorer guy, if you want to trade the Les Paul Jr. Rhythm for it, I would make that happen. We both have expensive guitars with limited buyer pools. But before we continue, we need to have a word from our sponsor, Sweetwater. Sweetwater is a great place to buy your stuff, but it's not just guitars. You can also buy amps, effects pedals, patch leads, whatever you need for general music making. They are your place and they're happy to ship it to your door, or you can visit their Fort Wayne, Indiana location. And if you happen to be local, they have tons of events all the time. They also do monthly giveaways that you can follow the link in the description to become a part of. Thank you, Sweetwater, for being a continuous sponsor of my show. And now let's get back to our guitar. That's our main feature tonight. I've got a couple other tidbits I can share with you. I was on eBay today, and I'm probably going to regret talking about these, but my House to Your Home and Eric Ernest very recently gave me a kind gift, so I figure it's only right. Apparently, there's still some more stuff from the Maudie Moore Estate collection, but now instead of doing the weird sale that apparently they had to do it that way, they're taking it to eBay. So Anybody can bid on this. So for $500, you can have this slab of mahogany. And that's not just any slab of mahogany, that is an old map guitar that apparently never got finished. So it's the version that's gonna have the toggle switch all the way down here and then your 4 knobs, and it appears to be the wrap tail, and it's already been routed for the neck tenon. So you just have to slap a neck on there. This could be a fun project for somebody to birth a map guitar to their own spec. I mean, it's got some weird staining back here, so I don't know if sanding would get rid of that or if you have to do like a faux stars and stripes type finish, but it's all been routed out the back, and it appears they even have this channel wire going through it. But what I found really cool is you don't have the pickup routes yet, so if you want to be the crazy madman that has the Stratocaster pickup layout on it, you can do it, and it would look stock. And she'll even throw in one of the hang tags. But if you just think $500 opening bid is way too much, there's one for $400 opening bid, and I really like this piece. It's got some interesting wood grain right here, and just encompasses the entire thing. However, if you take a look at this photo, and then go back to what we just saw, you can tell this one's probably more so a factory second, or maybe it didn't get the same fixins to it, because the overall shape is a little bit more rounded and not as detailed. And you're also going to notice there's no tenon route, there's absolutely nothing. And what's even more strange is the fact that we don't have the pancake layer in this one. It just appears to be straight up mahogany. And believe it or not, there's actually a third one of these, very similar to the first. However, the back's kind of ugly. You've got that white stripe in it. So that's never gonna quite look right unless you try to stain it a matching color. So I like how they bumped up all the freebies on that one. But now my biggest question is, why did Maudie have these? Because that was Hutchins' territory. I mean, I'm sure they were probably friends. They knew each other. They did fine work for Gibson. 2 of them at least appear to be real body blanks, because I think I see that maple layer in here. But in case you're lost here, Epiphone first made these map guitars around 1982 because it was their whole thing. They were making the Epiphones in the USA Kalamazoo shop, kind of a gimmick type thing, but then people decided they liked them. Dealers enjoyed having them around, so they started branding them Gibson. And then you have this very famous photo of the poster child that's actually bigger than all the other ones, has a toggle switch in a unique location and a 2-pneumatic stop bar tailpiece. And I hunted and searched, and I was able to find it and document it in this episode. But her listing states she'll be listing other things, so check her out. My House to Your Home 77 on eBay might get interesting. And they work on more than just Maudie's estate. She's got some other interesting stuff if you like witches and other various vintage items. As far as Gibson stuff, it looks like there's a custom-made tailpiece for a Joey Bishop. Then a cool belt buckle. I love these 70s, 80s era Gibson belt buckles. The only one that's really worth anything is the 2550 because it was part of a guitar. But I like to pick those up when they show up for like 25 to 50 bucks. And this is a really cool book. They can get very expensive, but that's also up for auction. Very fair asking price. You used to see these things sell for like 200 bucks. So apparently zZounds has some new exclusives. I saw this posted on a Facebook group, and it's like, yeah, Fireburst finish, not my favorite. Yeah, we got our Dirty Lemons, but this caught my attention. Apparently they're having Quilt Top 60 standards. Now apparently they didn't get too many like this, and it's an awesome Honeyburst finish, but finding a quilty top out of Gibson USA is a little bit difficult. Usually it's only small, choice, limited runs, and they're not always available to order. But when I went to their website, I actually couldn't find that, but I found this one. They have a quilted ocean water finish. Now they are asking premiums on these, as Gibson typically does, but this really takes me back to kind of the Goro Yudo signature, or even some 2018 ocean water guitars. And hey, would you look at that? When we had just recently talked about the Andertons tour, we saw a lot of backs with this finish. So maybe, just maybe, it was one of these. I really like that. Now, as far as the quilt top on this particular one, I feel like it works better as a plain top. You've got so much awesome wood grain. I'm sure in person this one would just come to life even more. The kind of aqua greenish blue back gives it a different flavor than what we've seen in the past, which is cool. Oh, and there we go. That's what I've been looking for this whole time. Yes, they do still have the Honeyburst. And you want to know what's nice about these quilts? They're not so extreme that they have no movement. You can tell this is the version that has that chatoyant effect in the light. But check out the fretboard on that one. Nice and streaky. I wish they had some more photos of that. And whoa, I like that back. That's pretty good. A little bit of candy cane striping in your headstock too. However, fair warning, it doesn't look like that's the actual one you'll get if you order this, unlike this quilted one, which tells you what serial you're looking at. But I think that's enough fun for tonight. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, consider subscribing. I post videos like this every day. And you might even enjoy this next one.